Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Groveland Virtual Candidates Night, sponsored by the Groveland branch of the Greater Haverhill League of Women Voters. This is surely a different way to present our annual Candidates Night, but we are glad that we can at least present the contested candidates for office, that is, Selectmen and Housing Authority. For the League tonight, there are two of us. I'm Ruth Race of Nichols Way, and Valerie Osborne of Pleasant Street, who will do the timekeeping. The League is a nonpartisan national organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. It does not support or oppose candidates, but does support or oppose issues on which members have studied and arrived at a consensus. Now, to start the evening, we're working on the Housing Authority. We have two candidates, Jay Collins and Kathleen Prunier. Kathleen Prunier will not be here tonight because she has been self-confining for several months. But I do have a speech for her to read. But we will start off with Jay Collins, who has 5 minutes to say his piece, I guess I should say, whatever you would like to say, Mr. Collins.
Thank you. Good evening. First off, I'd like to thank the League of Women's Voters for coordinating this event. And as many of you already know, my name is Jay Collins. I'm running for office for the Groveland Housing Authority this year, where I'm actually also a resident for 11 years now. The reason I'm running for this position is I feel it's time for a change, a new perspective on things, so to speak, if you will. I'd like to be able to bring forth new thoughts and ideas to the Groveland Housing Authority, as well as a new voice for the residents. I believe that it's important for the residents of Groveland Housing to be fully represented individually and as a whole. I'd also like to see the residents, along with the Housing Authority, be able to work as one cohesive unit. I'm positive that I could be that person to be a voice for the residents, to hear their thoughts as well as any concerns that they may have. I'm willing to listen to anyone and everyone for all that they have to say, and I'll do everything that I'm able to for the Groveland Housing Authority. It's time that we work together and do what works best for all those involved, residents as well as staff and members of the Board of the Housing Authority. If elected, I believe I'll be able to aid in doing just that.
Thank you. Would you like to add anything more?
But that'll be it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate your coming. Why don't you sit there while I read Mrs. Prunier's message, and then you can leave before we ask the selectmen candidates to come in. This message, everyone, is from Kathleen Prunier. She writes as follows. Thank you to the League of Women Voters of Greater Haverhill for making this possible during the pandemic. My name is Kathleen Prunier, and I'm a candidate for re-election to the Groveland Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. River Pines is a 58-unit affordable complex for elderly and handicapped residents, beautifully situated on the Merrimack River and conveniently located behind the Town Safety Complex, Town Hall, and the Langley Adams Library. This location is also adjacent to the Pines Recreation Area, providing picturesque walking trails, a new playground for visiting grandchildren, and easy access to activities such as Groveland Days, the Pine Speedway reunion, enjoying a ball game, or just the beautiful views of the river. River Pines Housing Complex also offers a beautiful community room with a full kitchen, fireplace, comfortable seating, a large screen TV, and accessible bathroom facilities, and is available for the residents to hold family gatherings, tenant get-togethers, holiday parties, or to simply enjoy a cup of tea with friends and neighbors. Affordable family housing consists of a duplex, each unit having 3 bedrooms, and a single-family 3-bedroom home. A recent consolidation with the Haverhill Housing Authority has greatly strengthened our ability to provide an excellent maintenance team and has streamlined. The mission of the Groveland Housing Authority is to provide clean, safe, affordable housing. We meet this mission and are constantly improving our properties as budgets permit. Unfortunately, our needs sometimes exceed our resources. Our plans going forward, for which the design work has been completed, are to repave walkways, roads, and parking spaces throughout River Pines in compliance with ADA, install security cameras throughout the site, and upgrade all lighting systems. In addition, I view enhancing safety through bathtub modification to allow step-in rather than climb-in tubs as an urgent priority. Unfortunately, we have an approximately 3-year wait list for housing for the elderly and handicapped and have closed applications for family housing when we reach the 10-year mark for the wait list. This is unacceptable, and to that end, the executive director is in the process of researching the best practices for adding affordable housing through possibly purchasing existing houses to rehab into affordable family housing. The GHA is currently also in the process of combining with the 2 neighborhood agencies to enable us to provide a social service coordinator to assist our residents in navigating through the many resources and agencies available to them for assistance in all area of daily life. Over many years as a member of the GHA, I've provided oversight for the submission of mandated HUD, the HUD, and DHCD documentation. This has required significant training and testing to ensure that as a commissioner, I understand the requirements. I've enjoyed my time serving the community as a board member of the GHA and ask for your vote to continue in this important role. Thank you and stay safe. I think that concludes our time with the Housing Authority candidates, and thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Valerie will go out, and while you're moving around, she'll go out and usher in the selectmen candidates.
I'll do the string but first. Stay where you are.
All right.
This way or that way? Does it matter? The
You
door?
go out where it's most convenient for you.
I didn't know if it made a difference with the same.
Thank you again for coming. Well, to the audience, while we're making this change, we have to sanitize all areas, as we have been asked by the town hall management to do. And we will then usher in the selectmen candidates. So while that's happening, it's time for some reminders for our viewers. Number 1, this program will be rebroadcast over Channel 9 up to the election date. Now, mail-in voting, something everyone is interested in these days, I think. Applications for ballots are available from Elizabeth Cuniff, the town clerk, and completed ballots should be in her hands no later than Friday, June 12 at noon. The election date is June 15th. Voters, please note that the hours are different this year. It goes from noon until 8 p.m. There will be no morning voting. Beth Cuniff would like to remind voters that there will be 2 entrances for the precincts as labeled, Precinct 1 in one area and Precinct 2 in another area, which should cut down on numbers of people in one place at a time, I think. All right, and the last thing I would like to let you know about is a town meeting. It's going to be on June 22nd at 7 p.m. Thank you, and now we'll await the others, and you maybe have some notices for us over here on the TV?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, welcome all. I gave my opening speech before when you were all outside, but welcome to our virtual candidates night. I really never, in all the years I've been doing this, I never thought we'd be doing this, but I'm awfully glad that you can be here. and that we can have at least a chance for people to hear your opinions and your ideas before the election. My name is Ruth Race of Nichols Village, and Valerie Osborne of Pleasant Street. And I don't think I need to introduce the league anymore because I just did that already, but if you have any questions about the league, of course, I'm glad to answer them. We just finished with the Housing Authority candidates. Jay Collins was here, but the other candidate was not able to be here, Kathleen Prunier. I should mention that there is one other person running for Housing Authority, but that's for a different position and a different term. Those were 5 years, and this is 3. So she has no competition, so we did not have the candidates here for that. So with that, you're all seated in alphabetical order. The rules are that you will each have 5 minutes to speak. And after you're all done, I'm going to draw a number from the basket and tell you who gets to speak 2 minutes each for a follow-up. So with that, I'm going to just begin right away with Kathleen Kastrinelis.
Good evening. Thank you, League of Women Voters, for hosting this event during these difficult times. You're always there for us. And thank you to everyone who takes the time to watch this candidates night. My name is Kathleen Kastrinelis. I'm running for the Board of Selectmen. Some of you know me, but perhaps some of you do not. So I prepared a short summary of who I am and why I'm running. I'm running for re-election because I care deeply about our town, and I'd like to give back to a community that has given so much to my family and I. My husband Mike and I have lived here for over 30 years. We raised our 3 children, Jackie, Mike, and Andrew here. My children attended Pentucket schools. I thank the teachers and administrators in Pentucket for preparing my children so well for their lives. My husband Mike retired from the Groveland Fire Department after 25 years of service as the deputy chief, and I myself have served on many towns and committees over the years. Our town is beautiful, and I will work to preserve it. We have access to the Merrimack River, Johnson's Pond, and miles of trail. If elected, I will also pursue restoring the Mill Pond recreation area, which is now vacant. Our services are first-rate. Our police, fire, highways, library, town government, and schools. We are a small town with a big heart, but we are facing housing growth and an aging infrastructure. I will ensure that as we make decisions for the present, we are also planning for our future. This past year, I served for 1 year on the Board of Selectmen, and I accomplished much. I encouraged and supported grant funding for public safety, town planning, recreation, and I also assisted the Groveland Housing Authority to secure badly needed capital funds. I participated in hiring our town's first full-time fire chief, spearheaded a town-wide capital fund, and I also worked to ensure that our town's precious water supply is properly protected. I am a team player, and I'm able to reach across divides to get critical tasks accomplished. If elected, I promise to continue this practice and also to bring forward policies to improve decorum, fairness, and respect within all town boards. As a candidate, I am not endorsed by any special interest group. I represent you, the voter, and the taxpayer. I feel the job of selectman is best done when you are not pressured by special interests, but rather make decisions in an unbiased and transparent manner for the betterment of our town. Our town finances are in excellent shape. Our taxes provide a good value for the quality of life in our town. We have set aside financial reserves, which will help us face this uncertain economy, but there is much work to be done. As a selectman, I will keep our finances strong and our taxes under control. I understand how to act in the best interests of our town to ensure that Groveland remains a great place to raise a family and to grow old with dignity. In addition to my experience in town government, my qualifications include a BA in economics, a master's degree in secondary education, 10 years experience as a rate economist, and over 15 years teaching mathematics at Whittier Votech High School, a job which I love. I am dedicated, hardworking, trustworthy, and transparent. If elected, I will lead by example. In closing, a quote from Teddy Roosevelt that I will improvise on. It is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man or woman who is actually in the arena. My name is Kathleen Kastrinelis. I ask for your support and your vote on June 15th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
And now we'll move on. Mr. Naves, is that the right way to pronounce it?
Yes, it
Naves?
is.
All right, for your speech.
Thank you. I also would like to thank the women of the League of Women Voters for putting together this event during these difficult times, because it truly is a testament to your dedication. My name is Jason Naves, and I am seeking to serve on the Board of Selectmen, where I plan to utilize the skill set that I've developed in specialty retail, overlooking multiple locations from California to Florida. My specialties include profit and loss management, inventory control, team building, and my ability to turn around stores and areas kept me traveling across America for the better part of 20 years, with each location posing unique challenges, keeping my mindset agile and diverse. In 2008, I began to shift gears because I dreamed of returning back down. And I went back to school. I got a degree in electronics engineering and started to create opportunities to realize my dream. And realize my dream I did. I moved here in 2016. I bought my house. And I'm a very hands-on person in every aspect of my life. If I see something I don't like, well, that needs to be fixed, trimmed, picked up, I don't point it out. I don't complain about it. I take care of it, as everybody from the Groveland Dog Park can attest to. The dog park's what started me on this path. There was rumors regarding the need to relocate the dog park, and being extremely passionate about my fur babies, I thought it was a great opportunity to work with the town and create a proper dog park that the town of Groveland could be proud of. For me, I didn't understand what it meant to work with the town, or even what it looked like. But being a hands-on person, I started attending a lot of different meetings. I found the vacancy on the open spaces and trails and volunteered. Shortly after that, I was asked to join the Community Preservation Committee. I jumped at the opportunity because I was learning so much at all the different meetings, and I really enjoyed going to the meetings and learning about the town and how it worked. I reached out to Bill O'Neill to ask him help on how and to present the new dog park to the town, and he introduced me to Mike Dempsey, who was a great person and helped me find a grant for dog parks here specific to Massachusetts for $250,000 for a cost of $25,000, which I thought was an incredible return on your investment. And then along with Ed Watson, who gave us a little push to move us forward, it's a continued work in progress. Some of the meetings that I attended really got my brain working and thinking of different ideas. The Water Commission raised the rates for the town, and I know it was done by a third-party consultant in conjunction with the Finance Board. I believe I have that right. If not, Jim Scallion will let me know. But when I went home and looked at my water bill, I realized that I have a two-family house, and I'm not near the third-tier pricing. And it made me think that maybe they could have increased some of the income without raising the rates and protecting the people that were on a fixed income by adjusting the tiers and moving that around a little bit. I don't know if it's possible because I wasn't directly involved in it. But it would be nice to know that all avenues were explored and looked at. And those are some of the things that, as selectman, I do because I look at a lot of different things in different ways, because that's been my life, learning and discovering how to generate sales, how to make people work together, how to motivate people. And that type of critical thinking is something that I plan to bring to the Board of Selectmen. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Stewart, it's your turn.
Well, first of all, thank you to Ruth Race, Valerie Osborne from the League of Women Voters of Greater Haverhill for volunteering your time tonight, especially on such a hot night. And Thank God it's cool in here because it was hot outside. Just to introduce myself to the voters of Groveland, my name is Daniel Stewart. I live on Matthew Drive in Groveland. My family and I have been in Groveland residents since 2003. I am married to my wonderful wife, Stephanie, who is a paraprofessional school teacher both at the Bagnell School and at the West Newbury Middle School. We have 4 children. We're very fortunate to have watched them grow up in this town, a very great town like Groveland. I work at Gilbert Insurance Agency as the Vice President of Sales in Reading for the last 23 years. I am a certified insurance counselor. I have a lot of clients in town, businesses in and around town, and I will get to that a little bit further. I've a little history. I've been a member of the Groveland Recreation Committee for 10 plus years. I volunteered my time, managed the ball fields down at the Pines for the last 10 years. I have had many volunteers that have helped me down at the Pines, clearing trash, grooming fields, doing basic maintenance. So I would like to thank all of them for their support over the last 10 years. I would like to name each one of them, but I'm afraid I would probably miss 1 or 2 names, and I don't want to do that. But I just want to thank them, whether they're coaches, parents, or what have you, and also the kids. They've helped paint dugouts and just done a great job. It's been a really nice community effort, and we've had so much success, and I will talk about that in a second. I would all like to mention the name. Oh, I said that, sorry. I don't want to repeat myself. As many people know, the Pines has gone through major improvements over the last 10 years. We put in 2 new fields, a beautiful new parking lot, most recently new bathrooms, and special thank yous to our most recent construction was Kathleen Guilfoyle worked really hard at putting a safe, up-to-date playground for the children. So the last one was like 20 years old. It was a little rough on the kids, and this one is, it's built safely for them. So she is also a part of the Groveland Recreation and worked really, really hard to get that done. It looks fantastic. It's just too bad they can't play on it right now, and hopefully that'll be soon. I would also like to thank who I've worked with, the Highway Department, Light Department, Water Department, our Police Department who watches over everything down there, and of course our Volunteer Fire Department for all the hard work they do for the town. Communicate with them all the time. There's a lot of stuff down there that they watch over, take care of, and I think, as Kathleen said, we have unbelievable recreational facilities here in town, whether it be the Pines, Washington Park, the ponds and all that, and we do a really nice job of keeping them up, and that makes us a very special community. Some of the accomplishments over the last 10 to 12 years, along with being a member of the Recreation Committee, I've been fortunate enough to coach Groveland youth soccer, youth basketball, youth softball, youth baseball for the town of Groveland. Some of the coaching accomplishments, we won the Essex County Women's Softball Championship twice for the 7th, 8th graders with both of my daughters. We won the 5th, 6th grade championship. We've also won 3 Middle Essex Summer Softball Championships. And most recently, the last 2 years, we won the Pentucket U13, U14 Babe Ruth for the boys. Goal as a selectman, if elected as a selectman, my goal would be to work with the current Board of Selectmen, Town Hall, to keep the town moving in the right direction, not only regarding our recreation facilities, but the town's infrastructure and the needs of the people of the town of Groveland. In closing, I want to thank all my friends, clients here in town, for supporting me. Special thanks to Fadi at Groveland Auto, Neil and your family at Nicole's, Howard and your family at Jerry's. Congrats on your new baby. And I can't wait to watch a game of cricket at Strawberry Fields. Stay safe. Best wishes to everybody in Groveland and the Pentucket community. God bless.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Young, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, residents of Groveland. My name is Debra Young, and I live in one of the old mill houses in Groveland. For the residents who haven't seen one of my cards and don't know me, I am a professionally diverse mother of 2. I attended Essex Agricultural High School and started working as a trained florist at 13. But as a young adult, I was interested in many things and could never decide what I wanted to do. I've had many other positions over the years, but these represent the majority of my professional career. I have been an office manager, bookkeeper, general contractor, designer, caretaker, and teacher. One of the reasons I'm running for selectman is to preserve this wonderful community we love. I believe the founders of this town intended to consider the town's people as a whole when making decisions. I feel our local government is straying too far from this ideal. One of the recent changes that may be contributing to this was the decision to increase from 3 selectmen to 5. The idea was to distribute the responsibilities of running the town between a larger group of people, so we would not need to hire a town manager. In recent months, we have seen our Board of Selectmen once again discussing the option of hiring a town manager and debating on what title this position should have. With the new school coming in and other purchases needed in town, our residents do not need this additional burden of a high-paying position, which is more than likely to trigger an assistant to go with it. The proposed position would not be necessary if the board were more engaged. We are still a small town, and we have the ability to move forward without adding a town manager. I believe that over the last 7 or 8 years, we have seen the board relinquish more and more authority and replace it with complacency. Being a selectman in a small town is an important position of responsibility. Any person who accepts to do this job must be able to carefully and ethically weigh all town decisions, because they impact a wide variety of people. Our selectmen must consider equally the taxpayer, the elderlies, the workers, and the volunteers, because these are our neighbors. These are the people who make up our town and make it a wonderful place to live. And these are the people we do not want to leave our community. Many residents in town do not feel they are being represented properly. They don't feel that their leaders they have elected have their best interest in mind. I think this is one of the reasons we are having a hard time filling positions and finding volunteers. Groveland may have a few more residents than when I moved here in 1998. We are, however, still a small town of just over 6,800 souls. Our small towns are disappearing rapidly. In Massachusetts, there are 294 towns. Only 132 towns left this size or smaller. It is our responsibility to maintain Groveland and to protect its charm with smart growth and constraints. With these unsettling times we live in, it is more important than ever that we are aware of our small community and just how lucky we are to live here. This is your town, this is your home, and we need to protect it. I would like that opportunity to work for you so we can move forward and maintain the things that make Groveland a wonderful place to live. Thank you.
And thank you very much. Thank you to all of you. Now, I'll give you 2 minutes each to rebut, add, whatever you wish to call it. And I'm just going to pick a number right out here, and whatever that number is, Mrs. Kastrinelis gets to be number 4.
Number 4, oh, good. So I was just gonna do one.
Don't pick me as number 1, I just got done reading.
All right, I'll make sure you don't get to that. Mr. Naves can be number 1.
In my throat.
Agreed.
And let's see, 2 more to go. You can be number 2, Mr. Stewart, and you can be number 3. That's a little bit of
Thank
extra
you,
time. All right, so if you remember your numbers, we'll start with that order.
Number 4.
Number 1.
Easy to remember,
Mr.
right?
Mr. Naves, for your 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you, thank you. I just want to reiterate that I spent my whole life thinking outside the box on how to generate sales, motivate people, how to design that tool that will produce a particular part repeatedly, efficiently, cost-effectively, evaluating situations from all sides before moving forward. Is there a more cost-effective way? Is there somebody that has more experience that I can ask, that's done this before? What if? This is the type of critical thinking that I would adapt and apply to the Board of Selectmen. So, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Okay, who's the lucky one who got number 2?
I'm number
Mr.
2.
Oh,
Stewart.
it's going like that, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's easy.
kind of going in order. For all those folks out there tonight, not watching the Red Sox and not watching any sports or anything, and hopefully you're watching us from all three towns, actually. I really look forward to your vote on June 15th. The June 12th deadline by mail is a week from tomorrow. Other than that, it's 12 o'clock at Town Hall till 8 o'clock.
12 to
I will be here, and at least I get to work half a day on my regular job, and I'll be here from 12 to 8, and hope it's safe and everything's okay. But I would really love your vote to help this town out, as I've worked with the town for the last 10 years on a volunteer. Continue that on a dual basis, as I will still remain a member of the Recreation Committee to make sure our fields and stuff are taken care of until we find that time where we have somebody that can be paid to take care of it. I do it for free. The volunteers do it for free. I thank you so much for that. It's so nice working with the parents, the coaches, the teachers. They love doing it. We've done so much, and again, our departments, the fire department, police department, highway department, light, water department, they've helped out so much. It's been a nice experience. So with that, God bless everybody, stay safe, and be well.
Thank you.
I am number 3. Yes, ma'am, I am. First, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for having us here tonight, and also thank the residents who have supported me with a sign. I'd like to use this time I have left to comment on the current situation we find ourselves in today. Americans have always pulled together in times of crisis, and we have had many. The coronavirus has been a highly unusual situation and difficult for us all. The constitutional laws that govern our country states that our rights are never suspended under any crisis, ever. But due to many unknown dangers that came along with the introduction of COVID, we were asked by our government to give up these very precious rights for a short period of time. We were willing as good Americans to do our part, to come together to fight this invisible enemy. We are now faced with many uncertainties. How will we move forward? When can we regain our freedom and resume our lives, which we have sacrificed in order to mitigate the damage of this virus? On this Memorial Day, I feel a true appreciation, more so than in the past years, for the values and ideas of our American soldiers that have protected it with their very lives, some of them just teenagers. Imagine how afraid of the unknown they must have been, like some of us are now. They did not let fear stop them from what they needed to do. They gave their all to protect our liberty, our rights, and our freedom. They say courage is not living without fear. Courage is being scared to death of failure and doing it anyway. Your soldiers knew that. I thank God for them. We have challenges ahead, but I look forward to facing them with you. To the residents of Groveland, I want to thank you for being kind and helpful to each other during these times, and I will always do my best for you. I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
And thank you. Now we go on to Mrs. Kastrinelis.
Thank you. Again, thanks to everyone for sticking in here and watching us through this whole thing. I think that the fact that 4 people are running for the 5-member boards tells you that the 5-member board is a success. Was one of the projects I worked on before I was on the Board of Selectmen, and the reason behind it was to actually create more diversity on the Board of Selectmen so we could better represent the people of this town. And I think we've achieved that. I'm really proud of that. I've really enjoyed serving this past year on the Board of Selectmen. I know I've saved the town quite a bit of money this year with the work that I've done. I hope to be able to continue that good work. I'll point out right now that our finances are in very good condition, which is a good thing for us because the economy is not in such good condition coming out of this COVID. But I trust that our town will be able to maintain itself and maintain its beauty and maintain its services, because we're not a town that has a lot of people working for it. We have a very small staff of people that work for this town that do everything. And they've been unbelievable throughout this whole crisis. Our police, our fire, our town hall workers, our highways, water and sewer, no complaints. These people have been there for us, and they continue to be there for us. I know sometimes it's hard to look at a bill from the town and think, wow, this has gone up a little bit. But also just remember all of the good things that we have in this town that this is what it's supporting, and that compared to a lot of other towns, our taxes are very reasonable. And now that we have some reserves, we can use reserves to keep our tax rate reasonable. You just have to know how to do that. And that's something that I bring to the Board of Selectmen. I have that skill set and that knowledge base. I would like to have your vote and ask for it on Monday, June 15th, noon to 8 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And to all of you, I have some thanks to give for coming out tonight. And I want also to thank Brett Carlson for the television work, Denise Dombrowski of the Town Hall office for helping make this possible, facilitating getting the room, and as well as Beth Conn of Town Clerk. So I will say good evening to everyone, but before I do, I think Valerie has a little announcement to give. While she does that, I will say what everybody else has been saying, but so important to us all these days. Stay well.
Yeah, thank you.
Where should I stay? Right here, okay. I have a story to tell you,
Okay.
you and all the people at home listening to this. The date was August the 18th, 1920, 100 years ago. And the man I'm going to talk about is Harry Burns, a 24-year-old representative from East Tennessee, who 2 years earlier had become the youngest member of the Tennessee State Legislature. He wore a red rose in his lapel. The red rose signified his opposition to the proposed 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which stated that the rights of citizens of the United States to vote should not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of sex. By the summer of 1920, 35 states had ratified the measure, bringing it just one state short of the required 36. In Tennessee, it had sailed through the Senate, but stalled in the House of Representatives, prompting thousands of pro- and anti-suffrage activists to descend upon Nashville. If Byrne and his colleagues voted in favor, the 19th Amendment would pass the final hurdle on its way to adoption and give women of America the right to vote. But after years of intense lobbying and debate within the Tennessee legislature, a motion to table the amendment was defeated by a vote of 48 to 48, a tie. The Speaker then called for a ratification vote. To the dismay of many suffragists who had packed the Capitol with their yellow roses and sashes and signed, it seemed certain that the roll call would maintain the deadlock. But that morning, young Harry Byrne, only 24 years old, received a note from his mother, Phoebe Ensminger Byrne, known to her family and friends as Miss Feb. In it she had written, "Hurrah and vote for suffrage. Don't keep them in doubt. I notice that some of the speeches are against this and they were bitter. I've been watching you to see how you stood, but I haven't noticed anything yet." She ended with a missive with a rousing endorsement of the great suffragist leader, Carrie Chapman Catt, imploring her son to be a good boy and help Mrs. Catt put the rat in ratification. Still sporting his red boutonniere, which meant he was against it, but clutching his mother's letter, which was 8 pages, by the way, Burke quietly said, "Aye." And he said it so quickly that it took his fellow legislators a few minutes to register his unexpected response. With a single syllable, he extended the vote to women of America and ended half a century of tireless campaigning by generations of suffragists, including Susan B. Anthony, Alice Paul, Lucy Burns, and of course Mrs. Catt. to get the word male in effect out of the Constitution cost the women of this country 52 years of pauseless campaign, Mrs. Catt wrote in a book. Anyway, this young man listened to his mother and he voted in favor. The next day, Byrne defended his last-minute reversal in a speech to the Assembly. For the first time, he publicly expressed his personal support of universal suffrage, declaring, "I believe we have a moral and legal right to ratify." But he also knew the secret of Miss Febb, his mother's, influence and her crucial role in the story of women's rights in the United States. "I know," he said, "that a mother's advice is always safest for her boy to follow," he explained. "And my mother wanted me to vote for ratification, so he did." So this is my story to remind you that just 100 years ago, this August, women got the right to vote.
Wow.
And I'm asking for everybody, women and men, young and old, to vote. And so there were two big messages from this story.
Listen to your
One
mother.
is that everybody should vote, and everybody should listen to their mother.
That's right.
Thank you and good night.
Women win on 2 counts.
Thank you all again.
Thank
for
you
being
guys
here.
for
Thank
putting
you very
together.
much.
Do you want us to take these with us so no one's
You
touching?
can keep your name tags.
Oh, boy, a prize.